Evi Papadopoulou is now going to talk about the obscure art histories, city, photography, and gender in post-war Greece. Evi is a postdoctoral researcher and academic fellow at the Department of Visual Arts and Art Sciences at the University of Ioannina here in Greece. And this is a paper exploring the gender politics embedded within the urban landscapes of post-war Greece, the context of a quite shifting and turbulent political climate, right? So, Evi.
I would like to thank the committee for accepting my abstract. In 1950, just 1 year after the end of the civil war between the Greek guerrillas and the National Army, Voula Papaioannou held an exhibition entitled The Greek Woman, η Ελληνίδα γυναίκα, at the Minerva Hotel in the center of Athens. As the article in the newspaper Tanea informs us, the exhibition is about the life of the urban student, athlete, artist, or worker, and rural women working in the fields and in the reconstruction of the country. The exhibition, which left no photographic traces in the archive of the photographer at the Benaki Museum Photographic Archives or in the press of the time, was held in the context of the meeting in Athens of the International Council of Women. Who are the women that Voula Papaioannou photographed? Who are the photographers who documented life in Greek cities? How did they experience their gender in urban space in an era of rapid reconstruction and development, but also of the formation of national identity, with nationalism, the expulsion of communists, and censorship as a reference point? Was there space to express their sexuality or class issues? How did they use technology? What was their role as professionals and amateurs? What is the reception of their work in contemporaneous and post-contemporaneous contexts? Post-war urbanization in Greece was a consequence of the destruction of the countryside after the Second World War and Civil War, and the forced movement of the rural population to urban centers in search of work, better education, and social advancement. The two poles of attraction were Athens and Thessaloniki, which experienced a significant increase in their population. In order to meet the housing needs of the population, the system of antiparochi was applied, building became a driving force of the economy, and the apartment, the dream of the newcomers from the village. In a broader context, immigration and rural exodus shaped new models of interpersonal relationships, with basic points of reference being the questioning of patriarchy and new variants of masculinity and femininity. In the context of strengthening the country's democratic image abroad, Greece ratified the United Nations Convention on the Political Rights of Women to Vote, and women won the right to vote in Greece in 1952. The processes of urbanization stabilized and expanded the participation of women in waged labor. This was especially the case with regards to civil servants, with the 1956 census revealing that approximately 1/4 of the civil servants were women, mostly teachers. For all of that, however, a 1955 law saw women excluded on the basis of gender from positions in the armed forces and civil police. The new models of interpersonal relationships can be traced to the illustrated journals of the time. During the same period, the magazine press, which was associated with women, was also flourishing, a fact which points to a rising gendered audience with income and a presence in both the workplace and the public sphere. In August 1948, in the middle of the Civil War, the Lyceum των Ελληνίδων, Lyceum of Greek Women, the Greek Association of Academic Women, and the Greek Girl Guides Association published the magazine Hellenia, the Voice of Greek Women. The magazine presented photographs by Voula Papaioannou and Maria Chrousaki on the subject of women in traditional dresses in the streets of Athens, and articles relating to the status of women and the promotion of national issues abroad. In 1950, the illustrated magazine Gyneka, Woman, was circulated, published by the Trezopoulos Publishing House, and by the end of the 1960s, it had a circulation of 150,000 issues. The magazine featured articles about fashion and everyday life, and photos of women in urban centers, very often with symbols of modernization like illustrated journals or cars. Institutional context. The assimilation of photography into the field of fine arts was realized under the remit of the Hellenic Photographic Society, an amateur association that was founded in Athens in 1952, a member of the Fédération Internationale de l'Art Photographique, with a system of awards and competitions that was reminiscent of the model of 19th century amateur clubs, such as the Photo Club and the Linked Ring. The professional makeup of Hellenic Photographic Society members equally corresponds to the middle-class structure of similar associations internationally, as most of the Greek amateurs were doctors, lawyers, journalists, civil servants, artists, and critics. The presence of women within Hellenic Photographic Society lagged behind that of men. Of the 43 founding members, only 3 were women. These were Helen Vlachos, Voula Papayioannou, and Vili Vendelov. Similarly, in the magazine Ελληνική Φωτογραφία, that is Greek photography, which was published for the first time in 1954 and hosted articles on issues related to the technical and aesthetic aspects of photography, news from the Hellenic Photographic Society exhibitions, and the photos presented in the competitions, the presence of women's work was subordinate to men's. A characteristic example of how subordinated the work of women was to that of men in the pages of the magazine is how, in issue 23, for example, only one woman photographer had photos published. The present text focuses on 4 cases of female photographers, 3 of them members of Hellenic Photographic Society, who through their participation in exhibitions and their activity in the field of publishing, shaped the way women experience and represent urban living. The approach followed is complemented with references on urban culture concerning a new model of female presence in the public sphere in Greece's post-Civil War reality. Voula Papayioannou. Voula Papayioannou was active as a photographer for about 30 years, from the mid-1930s to the mid-1960s. In her first steps, she tested her skills by photographing statues, antiquities, and landscapes. In post-war years, Papayioannou became a member of the Hellenic Photographic Society, and following the canon of amateur photographers, she focused mainly on Greek landscape. Her books, La Grèce à ciel ouvert in 1953 and Il Grec in 1956, contributed to the formation of the image of the country abroad as an heterotopia. However, a small part of her photographic production is dedicated to urban living. When roaming in the streets of the city, she usually kept distance from her subjects. Children was one of her favorite themes, and she also chose to photograph mainly street vendors in the center of Athens and Thessaloniki. Street vendors are not detached from their surroundings, they adopt stereotypical poses, and they look comfortably at the lens. The photographer's concern is equally divided between 2 elements: the emergence of the human condition of the subjects and the blurred boundaries between urban and rural life. The typological approach followed by Papayioannou was particularly useful in that it puts into molds the disorder one might encounter in the streets of a city. The types of various professionals can be found in photographic series and even on postcards already as early as the 19th century. The figures are photographed in a standardized manner, usually carrying their belongings and facing the lens. The professionals of Athens are part of an iconographic tradition that deprives them of any reference to their class position, and they are seen as a photographic subject, thus becoming more friendly to the eye of the tourist. Furthermore, when Papayioannou photographed the city of Athens, she employed high-angle shots, distancing herself from street life. Maria Chrousaki. High-angle shots of the urban landscape were also employed by Maria Chrousaki, one of the first members of the Hellenic Photographic Society. Chrousaki was born in Smyrna in 1899. She graduated from the School of Volunteer Sisters of the Hellenic Red Cross in 1926, which she served for many years. In her archives in the National Gallery, there is a small number of photographs of urban landscape. Apart from the shots from above, there are also snapshots at the National Garden, photos of monuments, and parades of the National Guard in the center of Athens. Nina Emanuel. Nina Emanuel was born in 1916 in Athens. She was a member of the Chamber of Fine Arts of Greece from 1947, with her studying as a painter. In 1940, she graduated from the Athens School of Fine Arts, and she took part in visual exhibitions as early as the 1940s. Emanuel, in parallel to her artistic path, also pushed forward her own feminist activity through being the General Secretary of the Association of Greek Women Artists, which was founded in 1954, and had the aim of highlighting the role of gender in the production, distribution, and acceptance of artistic work of women artists, with its members also participating in exhibitions abroad. The subjects that Emanuel engaged with were predominantly landscapes, ethnographies, and scenes with children as protagonists. She published photos in tourist guides, notable high-angle shots of the streets of Athens. Emanuel was the sole case of a female photographer publishing photographs in Greek photography that took the urban landscape as the subject. In June 1957, the magazine published her photo titled Athinaiki Platia, Athenian Square. In Athenian Square, she saw the urban landscape from above as an observer, as an eye watching from a distance, rather than a body that experiences the city. While, at the same time, she was also the only female photographer whose work from the exhibition E Athene ti Nύχτα, Athens at Night, on the subject of the electrification of Athens in 1959, was presented in Greek photography. In the exhibition Athens at Night, she turns her lens upon an illuminated shop window, in contrast to her male peers who photographed the broad avenues, Plaka's little alleys, and modern architecture. Ellie Papadimitriou. Ellie Papadimitriou was born in 1906 in Smyrna. She grew up in a wealthy Venizelist and progressive family, her mother being in favor of women's right to vote and emancipation. When she returned to Greece after the Asia Minor catastrophe, she devoted herself to the refugee issue. As a member of the Committee for the Restoration of Refugees and collaborator of the Center for Asia Minor Studies, she toured Greece with a backpack on her back and a camera. In post-war years, Ellie Papadimitriou has published 3 albums with the subtitle Old Photographs, one of which is devoted to Athens, notably the neighborhood of Kessariani. She photographed urban population and landscape following an ethnographic approach. She captured street vendors in the model of postcard types, street scenes from distance. She focused from the veranda of her house on the reconstruction of Athens. She captured workers in the streets without being noticed. In general, the political situation in Greece did not create favorable conditions for the flourishing of street photography with a critical and social orientation. The widespread practices of censorship at various levels of the public sphere, even with regard to the image of the urban landscape, and the hegemony of the spirit of nationalism, which is elevated to a dominant political demand driving to the rise of dictatorship in 1967, gave the street photography that appeared in Greece a rather conservative and opportunistic character. Women photographers in Greece, as was the case with women engaging with street photography everywhere in the world in post-war years, did not chase the extraordinary event. They did not display the more obvious signs of the city, such as the crowds. They did not wait for the uncanny event. Their practices did not echo the principles of Flannery, as described by Walter Benjamin. The choice of women photographers to shoot from above and not take actively part in the street life recalled the Certeau's distinction between looking and walking in the city. This division distinguishes the different orders of attitude to documentation. Like Benjamin's commentary on the flaneur, Desserteau's essay, Walking in the City, offers metaphoric perspectives from the point of view of the flaneur, who walks in the city, and the voyeur, who looks down on the city and observes rather than participates. The flaneur epitomizes the phenomenological tradition that places the subject at the center of the world, in this case, the city. Walking in the city finds its equivalent in street photography, where the existential encounter is central to understanding experience and characterizes the photographer's attitude to what he sees. The distant spectator, on the other hand, escapes the city's grasp and gains the advantage of apprehending the city as a panorama. Desserteau's description of a visual city suggests that photography can reduce the enormity of a city's activity to one beautiful cityscape. It translates the city into an optical artifact that excludes any reference to its inhabitants and city as a social space. In order to comprehend the choices of women photographers, we ought to take into account how the gendered characteristics of public space made it difficult for women to participate in so-called street photography, while, when they engaged in action, they shot from a distance and not face-to-face. Like women photographers all over the world, when they chose to shoot face-to-face, they usually chose innocuous subjects like children or street vendors, following an ethnographic approach and used less aggressive cameras, such as the Rolleiflex, with which the photographer is not aiming through the shutter. Emmanuel used a Rolleicord camera, a simpler and cheaper version of the Rolleiflex that was intended for amateur photographers. Voula Papaioannou and Maria Chrousaki used the Rolleiflex. On the contrary, their male colleagues, like Nikos Mavrogenis, for example, aimed at the uncanny and the bizarre, or adopted sometimes low and eccentric point of views and a lack of balance in the composition, like Dimitris Charisiadis, who, as Professor Moscovi demonstrated, adopted a dynamism similar to that of the street photography that flourished at that time in the United States, resembling Harry Callahan. To conclude, nowadays, Voula Papaioannou, Maria Chrousaki, and Eli Papadimitriou are known through exhibitions, catalogues, and publications, as their archives belong to museums. In the case of Voula Papaioannou and Eli Papadimitriou, in the photographic archives of the Benaki Museum, and in the case of Maria Chrousaki in the National Gallery. The reception of their work today passes to a great extent through the consideration of their gender. Voula Papaioannou is counted in the catalogue of the retrospective exhibition that took place at the Benaki Museum as the mother of the humanist document. Eli Papadimitriou is presented as a feminist, and Maria Chrousaki is the only woman photographer recently featured in the exhibition Astigraphia on the urban experience in the 1950s and 1960s in Greece at the National Gallery. Nina Emanuel is not known to the wider public as her archive is missing and no exhibition has been made in her honor. Women photographers did their gender in the streets of the city, according to West and Zimmerman, by choosing to abstain from social relations and interactions. They did not express any trace of their sexuality, nor class issues. They acted primarily as amateurs and not as professionals. None of them worked as a photo reporter, for example. They perceived city as a landscape and not as a social place, according to the standards of amateur photography. Although women in contemporary illustrated press were presented as active carriers of modernity, when women photographers roamed in the streets, they maintained their discretion in the public space. They did not disturb with their presence. They incarnated society's demand to reconcile traditional concept of gender roles with the demand for social modernization that promoted women's participation in the workplace and the acceptance of standards formed in Western Europe and the United States, without, however, challenging prevailing attitudes about their proper role and without disrupting the dominant patriarchal order. Thank you.